What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and to another all-new Halloween themed drawing tutorial. Halloween, it's my favorite time of year, so you know that's what all these tutorials are about this month. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can draw this cute little Frankenstein's monster from scratch using, you guessed it, the iPad and Procreate. And just like all my other videos, it's all in real time too. No time lapse, no edits. And you're gonna wanna follow along because this one is gonna be a contest one. You're gonna share your work for a chance to possibly win a prize pack from yours truly. So more details about that at the end of the video. So keep watching. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and draw this cute little Frankenstein's monster. Starting out, I'm using a 3000 by 3000 300 DPI canvas. It's an RGB canvas. And for this tutorial, it's gonna be a little bit different than my usual ones, a little bit different style, a little bit different technique, and that's all gonna start with the brush. So I'm not using one of my custom brushes. I'm actually gonna use one of the pre-installed brushes in Procreate, and that is the Monoline brush that is part of the calligraphy folder here. So if you have Procreate, you have this brush, it's built in. And the reason we're gonna use the Monoline brush is because it works totally different than most other brushes, with the fact being that it does not have any pressure sensitivity. So no matter how hard you press, how light you press, the thickness of your line is gonna stay consistent. It's gonna stay the exact same. So why is that important? Well, with this tutorial we're gonna do today, it's gonna give us a very almost vector looking design, really crisp, really clean, and kind of something that you would plan on making in Adobe Illustrator. It's not gonna be a vector though. Procreate is raster based, but it's gonna have that look. The only thing I've changed on this brush, all the settings are the same from factory, except for streamline. That's turned up all the way, maxed out at 100%. And to begin with, when we draw, we're gonna have it set at 100% brush size. So make sure that that's all the way up there at the top. And then for the color palette, once again, I've got this pre-made. So if you want to download the exact same colors that I'm using in today's video, you can find that for free on my website. If you go to BeeJayDeL.com, underneath the YouTube reference materials page, which I'll link all this down in the description below, you can find that along with a video at the top that walks you through how to install it if you're new to doing that. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, totally different type of video. So I'm not even going to start out with a sketch. We're just going to start out with a basic shape to help us use as a guide. And that is just going to be an oval here, holding down with our Apple Pencil and then holding down again with our finger locks it into a perfect circle. Now I want to make sure that this is centered. So we're going to go up here to the arrow icon here to open up our transform options. I want to make sure that snapping here is turned on. I'm going to grab this, move it around until I see that orange line in the center there. That means that it's centered on the canvas. Once we've got that, we can go ahead, just tap up here anywhere to lock that in. And that's gonna be the shape of our head. That's a guide, so we can go ahead and turn down the opacity on this by tapping on the N here to bring up the blend mode. Then we're gonna drop the opacity down to wherever you see fit. Just wanna see it, but don't want it too dark. We wanna be able to draw on top of this. All right, now that that's done, let's go ahead and make a new layer. This is gonna be the one that we actually draw on. Now, we're gonna use a different technique here than I usually use. This is, if you watched the video about the creature from the Black Lagoon this month, I taught about the symmetry tool in there, and we're gonna use the same thing here. So if we go up here to our wrench icon, we wanna go to canvas, and then we wanna go ahead and turn on drawing guide. Once we do that, you can see we've got this grid here. That's not the drawing guide we want though, so we wanna hit edit drawing guide. Brings up these options down here, and then we want to go ahead, far right here, click on symmetry. So if you didn't watch that previous video, what symmetry does is it allows you to draw on one side of the canvas over here, and then it's going to show up mirrored over here on the right side. So what that does basically is it saves you time. You've got to draw stuff once and it flips over here, so only drawing half of the drawing and having it completed for you. I don't usually use this just because everything looks a little bit too mechanical, a little bit too perfect, but with this style of drawing that we're doing, it's gonna be basic and it's gonna be kind of, like I said, a sharp looking drawing, something that does pop, and using the symmetry tool is gonna make that really stand out. So let's go ahead and hit done up here and we'll start drawing. You can see assisted is now turned on to layer 2. So once we start drawing over here, it mirrors it over here on this side. So let's start with the head here. This is the top of the head. This is the bottom, the chin area here. And of course, Frankenstein's monster kind of has that flattened head, but let's make it curve just a tad. So we're gonna come outside past this circle here, and then we're just gonna go ahead and draw a curved line here. Now, if you did watch that previous creature video, you'll remember that I talked about I don't like meeting the center line when I've got symmetry on because it's hard to get the lines to match up. It is a lot easier though with this monoline, so that's why we're able to use this. Just because you have that same thickness, no matter how hard you press, it works out a lot better. And I will show you here. So we'll just draw this line up here, kind of holding down, and then you can kind of see as I've come down here, you can kind of see the overlap there. So you can just move this around until you get a nice solid line there. Now, of course, I'm above this top line, but this is just a guide. So as long as we're close, we're fine. Now we're gonna do the same thing down here, connecting those lines and then dropping it down and back up until we've got those lines connected and they don't have an overlap. Now we just need to connect these. So with monoline, how I like to do this, my technique is I come to the end of this line here and just kind of press my Apple Pencil down. You'll see when you do that, I'm gonna do it out here so you can see it. It just makes a dot. So you can kind of see that dot underneath there where I press down. That way you can see where your line is starting and have control over it. So if we press a dot down here at the end of that line, bring that down until these match up and let go. You can see there's no blips there. There's no overlapping parts, just a really kind of solid line. It looks like we just drew it all together instead of doing it in those separate parts. So that's the head. We're done with that guide. So we can go ahead and turn that off or delete it. If we just slide that circle one there to the left and hit delete, we're good to go. All right, so next up, let's go ahead and do the body. So starting here, kind of a little bit further over to the edge of the chin there, or the jawline, we're just gonna start to pull down an oval here. Once again, just kind of adjusting it so we don't have the overlap where those lines meet. So we've got the body. I don't have a lot of room in here for the feet, so I'm gonna grab this arrow and using freeform, I'm gonna kind of smash this up a little bit. We're just gonna move this up to the top a little bit. So I've got room for the feet. All right, so let's do those next. I'm just gonna take a straight line down here. And coming over a little bit there from the center. We'll take another straight line here and connect those for the bottoms of the feet or the shoes. And then we'll have the foot curve back up here like this and then back into the leg here. That's all in one motion right there. Super easy. Next up, let's do the arms and the hands. So starting here, kind of at that side right there, we're just gonna pull out some lines there. With these, you can't really hold down to make them perfect because you saw that kind of does that angled thing, so you just have to do it fairly quick and let up. All right, next up, let's do the bolts for the neck. We're just gonna do a horizontal line coming out of where these meet right here. And then we'll do a vertical line for the head of that bolt, just like that. Looks super basic, looks super simple, but really once we go in and add the details, you're gonna see just really how clean and how professional this looks. All right, finally, let's do the ears. So just an oval shape here on the sides, making sure we don't hit the bolts there. And I think that looks pretty good. So this is our base design. This is our outlines. We're ready to start to jump in and do the details now. So to do this, and the way that we're gonna make this work is we're gonna drop the brush size now. We were at 100, we're gonna come down to, let's say 30%. Let's see how that works. Get it closer. If you have problems too getting the exact numbers here, one of the tricks you can do is when you have this engaged, if you slide out, you can move up by single percentages. You have a lot more control doing minor adjustments if you go out towards your canvas. See how that moves? A lot less, so you can get that exact. So we'll try 30. Starting out, let's see, what do we want to do? Let's do the ears first. Do the insides of the ears. So I'm just going to do a horizontal line here. Yeah, and I think that 30% looks pretty good. Do a small vertical line here. And then let's move on to the arms and the hands. So down here as this curves around, we're gonna kind of follow this line and then pull up the first index finger right there. Kind of curve it back around, and we'll just use that same technique coming around here. Just like that for the fingers, and then we gotta get the thumb in there. And you see how nice this is because we're drawing on one side, it's completing it here on the other, saves us time, and it looks exactly the same. Not always would we want to use that, but hey, for this, it really works. All right, next up, let's go ahead and do the sleeves here. So just a curved line down here. Let's give the shirt a neck here, collar. So let's just bring some lines down there. Try that one more time so we can, I'll zoom in too so you can see it a little bit better, to make sure that those lines match up and we don't have an overlap there. Pull in another one here at the top just for where that collar comes in. All right, we'll zoom back out now. Then let's break up the shirt from the pants. So we'll just do a curved line here. Once again, oops. Once again, just making sure that these meet here in the middle. And you're gonna see here, we're gonna have to do it with a bigger curve so it doesn't lock in to those angles. And then moving this around just to make sure that those match up without that overlap. And then for the feet, let's add kind of a top to this shoe or the boot. So if we bring this around, this curve around here, just like that. And then we can do some jagged lines here for where the pants come in. All right, so that's the body. Let's go ahead and move on to the head now. So for this, let's do the hair next. I'm gonna start the hair kind of at the bottom of the ear here. And this is gonna be all one solid motion. We're gonna go up and then kind of make some jagged lines here, some triangles for that hair. Meeting those in the middle, kind of holding down to lock them in will give you that nice crisp lines, the points there. Almost done. Let's do the eyes next. So let's go ahead here and, oops, draw an oval here. And you see it locked it into a square. So let's try it one more time. Oval, holding down for the circle. Then we can just drag and drop the color in there. It's gonna fill it in. And then next up, let's do the mouth. For this, I think we're gonna kind of have that weird bite here, the lip, so we'll just kind of pull a curved line around here, making sure those connect in the center. Then we do some curved little squares or rectangles here for the teeth. And then I want to give them a nose, but let's see. Let's do the eyes here first. Let's do some kind of reflections in the eyes. But to do that, I don't want the reflections on opposite sides. So if I do reflections here, it's going to be here. We want them on the same side. So if we have a light source coming in, they're going to be on the same sides. To do that, then what we're going to do is we're going to have to turn off drawing assist now. So if we come back up here, tap drawing assist, turn that off. Now, if we hold down here and select the white of the background, we've got that color selected. We can go in here and do these little circle ovals. Now that we have that turned off, you'll see it's only showing up on the one side. It's not showing up on both sides. With this, of course, a little bit different because you're doing it by hand, so you want to make sure that they line up somewhat similar from left to right. And then for the nose, I think we'll do just a regular round nose. I'm gonna switch back to black just by holding down here, or you can go up to the color palette. And with ovals or circles here on the drawing assist, it's really hard to get those to line up. We've got it turned off now, so we don't have to worry about it. But that's one thing that you probably don't want to use drawing assist for there in the centers if you do those. So, all right, there we go. That is our base design. Like I said, super simple, super basic, but you can kind of tell just how clean this looks. This has a, like I said, a very kind of vector look to it, or a very Adobe Illustrator look to it. So now let's go ahead and color this. We're gonna lay the color flats. And this is usually, if you've watched my videos before, when I make new layers, set reference layers, start dragging and dropping on different layers, just because I want to go in and be able to make new layers to do shadows and highlights. Something to keep in mind though, we're not going to do shadows and highlights here just because sometimes simpler is better. If you have a simple design like this and you go in and you start adding too many details, too many shadows, too many highlights, it kind of muddies up the design and you lose that really basic classic look that we're going for. So remember, sometimes simpler is better, and that's what we're gonna do with this. Because of that, we're not gonna make any new layers. I'm just gonna go ahead and drag and drop everything right on to this layer here. So to do this then, I'm gonna go up to my color palette, we're gonna choose green, drag that in, and watch as I drop this, because as I do, you'll see continue filling with recolor is up here. We're gonna select that. So watch as I do this. Boom, right there. You see this little cursor. We move this around, and now we can just drag that first and then just tap all these areas, and it fills in super quick rather than dragging every time from up here. Now that we've got that, next up we've got this dark gray. You can see though the cursor is still on, so I need to just tap another tool up here. If you don't do that, the recolor is still going to be on, and when you switch colors, it's going to fill in that last thing that you had selected. So we're going to select gray, drag that in for the hair there. I'm going to tap up here again. We'll go to purple for the shirt. Continue filling with recolor. Maybe, maybe not. We'll just drag it and drop it. Uh-oh, what's going on? We've got a glitch. We have a glitch. It's not going to allow me to do it. Something crashed, so I'm gonna have to close out of Procreate, open it back up, so bear with me. Okay, we're back in, and you can see that last one that I dropped, it didn't even save that, so we're gonna have to drag and drop again. There we go. Next up, we've got the blue of the pants, and you can see, once again, I forgot to hit that when I dragged and dropped the new color in there. So let's fill that back in. Do the pants. I'm just gonna drag these manually since there's only 3 rather than doing the recolor. Gray's up next, use that for the boots and for the neck. If you leave that drawing assist on too, when you do the filling in colors, it would fill in everything from left to right, so it would save you some time there. It's up to you. We just have it turned off now. And then finally, I've got pink. Let's do the nose pink. I think that'd be cute. Just doing a little pink nose there. And then also, let's do some pink cheeks to make them look really cute. For that, I wanna make sure that those line up. So I'm gonna tap this again, and then I'm gonna turn drawing assist back on, so that way I can add in these cute little round rosy pink cheeks, and they're the same on both sides. You see, as I color those in on one, it colors it in on both. And guess what? That is it. Like I said, we're not gonna go in, we're not gonna add any extra shadows, not any extra highlights or anything. This is just, like I said, a really basic design, but you can see how well this pops, how just cute and basic it is. And that'll give you another tool that you can use in your own art, another style that you can kind of play around with. Now from here, usually I'll go in and add a background on these videos and everything else, but that's where I want you guys to take over. So of course, I encourage you to take part and follow along with these tutorials. and I usually add that in part, but here's where I want you to make it your own. So if you followed along this far, finish the picture, add a background, and post it online. If you're on Instagram or Twitter, definitely post it there and tag me at BeeJayDeL. Or if you're on Facebook, I do have a group over there called Keep Creating, a group for artists by artists. You can post it in there as well. And then on October 31st, just in time for Halloween, I'll go ahead and announce my favorite, and that person, I'll send you out a little special prize pack in the mail then. So really excited to see what you guys can do with this, what you guys can do with the background. Also, if you guys haven't yet, I did start a new project and I've got a Discord set up for that project. It's based around the Potbelly Panda Crew, but there is an art talk channel on there. I know I've had a lot of people in the past that want me to start a Discord and I haven't, but there is a spot to talk art in there. So if you want to join the Discord, I will leave the link for that down in the description below. Hop over. If you are new to Discord though, I warn you, we set up something to stop bots and scams and spams. And basically you have to have a Discord account set up for at least 48 hours to be able to join the server. So if you're new to Discord, join Discord and then wait 48 hours before you click on that link down there. And then post these in there, post them wherever. Just tag me at BeeJayDeL because I want to see them. And until next time, keep creating.